Hello students. So today I will discuss one most vital topic and one most vital chapter, that is the legal and ethical issues in psychiatry. So this has the topmost importance in the field of psychiatry and psychiatric nursing. So let's start. Forensic psychiatry deals with the legal aspect of psychiatry. Law comes in contact with psychiatry at many points. For example, admission of a mentally ill person in a mental hospital, crime committed by a mentally ill person, validity of marriage, witness, will, consent, right to vote, and drug dependence. The various legal aspects of psychiatry are briefly discussed here. So first one, coming to the criminal responsibility. In the year 1843, in the month of January, a young Scotsman, Daniel M.C. Norton, shot dead Edward Drummond, the secretary of the British Prime Minister, Sir Robert Peel. He had intended to kill the Prime Minister, but Drummond was assassinated by mistake. The jury, after testification by 9 physicians, found M.C. Norton not guilty by reasons of insanity. Queen Victoria, Sir Robert Peel, and the other prominent persons were outraged. Following this, 15 prominent judges were invited by the House of Lords. They were asked to respond to a series of questions on criminal responsibility. The answers, which are immortalized in the history of forensic psychiatry, have now come to be known as M.C. Norton's rules. The M.C. Norton rule is used in a slightly modified form in many countries even now. In India, Section 84 of the Indian Penal Code Act 45 of 1860 states that nothing is an offence which is done by a person who at the time of doing it by reason of unsoundness of mind is incapable of knowing the nature of the act, or that he is doing what is either wrong or contrary to law. So, a mentally ill person is not protected ipso facto. He must satisfy the above mentioned rule. An idiot, mentally retarded person is not liable in the criminal law. The law generally classifies criminal lunatics into 3 classes. Number 1, an under trial who cannot stand trial because of mental illness. Number 2, guilty but insane. And number 3 is criminals who later become mentally ill. A class 2 criminal lunatic is acquitted under the law but is detained in a mental hospital, that is asylum, for further treatment. Next, coming to the civil responsibility. There is usually a presumption in the favor of sanity and the contrary must be proved. This applies both to the civil and criminal proceeding in the court of law. First one is marriage. The Hindu Marriage Act, Act 25 of 1955, provides for conditions for a Hindu marriage under Section 5. One of the conditions, Section 5.2, introduced by Act 68 of 1976, states that at the time of marriage, neither party, first one, is incapable of giving a valid consent due to unsoundness of mind, or number 2, though capable of giving consent, has been suffering from mental disorder of such a kind or to such an extent as to be unfit for marriage and the procreation of children, or number 3, has been subject to recurrent attack of insanity or epilepsy. Any marriage solemnized in the contravention to this condition shall be voidable and may be annulled by a decree of nullity under section 12 of the Act. Another ground of nullity under the same section is the fact that the consent of marriage was obtained by Freud. As to any material fact or circumstance concerning the respondent, for example, the fact of mental illness or treatment for the same, divorce can be granted under section 3 of the Act on a petition presented by either spouse on the ground that the other party has been incurably of unsound mind or has been suffering continuously or intermittently from mental disorder of such kind and to such an extent that the petitioner cannot reasonably be expected to live with the respondent. Section 13(3) inserted by Act 68 of 1976. Here, the term mental disorder means mental illness, arrested or incomplete development of mind, psychopathic disorder or any other disorder or disability of mind, and includes schizophrenia. The term psychopathic disorder means a persistent disorder or disability of mind, whether or not including subnormality of intelligence, which result in abnormally aggressive or seriously irresponsible conduct on the part of the other party, and whether or not it requires or is susceptible to medical treatment. Under the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act 1939, a woman married under Muslim law is entitled to obtain a decree for the dissolution of marriage on the ground of her husband being insane for a period of 2 years. The husband under the Muslim law has the power to pronounce divorce, that is talaq, at any time, anywhere, and without assigning any reason. Any married person may be granted divorce under the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936 on the ground that the other party had been of unsound mind at the time of marriage and the petitioner was ignorant of the fact and has been habitually so till the date of petition, which should be within 3 years of the date of the marriage. So these are the legal and ethical issues of marriage. Next, coming to adoption. Under the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Act 78 of 1956, any Hindu male who is of sound mind and is not a minor can adopt a child with the consent of his wife unless she has been declared by court to be unsound mind. Section 7. Similarly, any Hindu female who is of sound mind, is not a minor and is not married can adopt a child. If she is married, then her husband is dead or has renounced the world or ceased to be a Hindu or has been declared by a court to be of unsound mind. Section 8. In addition, the person capable of giving in adoption of a child should be of sound mind. So, in the next class, I will continue from the same topic. Thank you.